this week's episode of the Steel Show. As always, joined by head coach Mike Moroski here. I'm sure you guys were tuned into the game this weekend in Southern. Kind of a win ugly type of game. Really interesting in the downpour of rain, lightning delays. Talk about your just initial reactions from the game and maybe how you guys dealt with the delays leading up to the game.
Well, it's never easy. I wish I could say I had a plan. We talked about that. Patience, of course, is a virtue, but it is what it is. But patience really means, I told the team, power under control. So I have to be able to control it. But the truth is, there's no easy way to sit around for 2 hours and then.
Did you guys know it was coming? Did you have an idea the lightning was going to? Okay.
Yes, it was forecast, and we made provisions, and then supposedly it had cleared. And then, right as we were running out to kick off, they called it.
Yeah, and it kept getting pushed.
It's 30 minutes from the last strike that's within an 8-mile radius, and so we had a feeling. So we had talked about it, but tried not to overdo it because there is no planning for it. It's not like you go in and run plays or something like that. You don't know how long it's going to be. We did know it was going to clear up eventually, so that was hard.
Yeah,
that's never easy on the coaches, players. Both teams have to go through it, obviously, and so.
Talk about how important it is to not peak too early, whether as a coach, but obviously especially as a player, because it's obviously high emotions. Football's a high intensity game. You know how I was before a game, right? I was a high intensity guy. But there's a right and a wrong way to do it. You don't want to expend a lot of that emotion while you're in the locker room.
Yeah, and that you're exactly right, Broch. But again, there's no recipe. I think it depends on the overall maturity of the team. And I thought we did okay. We were chatting before. I do think there was a lot of things that played into the way we played in the second half, because the lightning stopped, but then right as we went in for halftime, and you probably couldn't tell on the video stream, but it was a torrential downpour. So the balls were waterlogged, everything was bad, very difficult to throw the ball. It wasn't going to be a normal second half. But because of the nature of the first half, where we didn't play particularly well, we turned the ball over. Ryan Hibbs did not have a great first half. Just, it was...
Some errors in there.
Yeah, and they kind of, as happens, they kind of multiplied, and so it wasn't good. We were able to hang in there. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit, which was the key to the game. But by the time we got to halftime, we knew, weather included, now you're warmed up, now it's normal, normal rain. And we knew it was going to come down to how well can we play every single play, every single situation. And that's what I'm most proud of the team of, is that we did hang in there. I'm not sure we responded well in the first half, but to play our way into a second half only down 9-0, and then to respond and play. Literally every situation was played extremely well. Maybe with the exception of their last offensive play in regulation. So that was tough, but so proud of the team. We made big plays on defense, special teams, offense. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to give you a chance to talk about your defense, because if anyone who watched that game or was there, that was the story of the game. Really, the Yost defense kept the team in the game in bad situations, short fields, and then in the second half, Southern just could not get anything going against our defense. Lots of 3-and-outs, giving our offense opportunities just to take a lead and get the ball in their hands. So just talk about the play of your defense and how good they were.
So the defense was great in the first half in this sense. They kept him out of the end zone. Southern, my opinion, played their best game of the year. They had a good plan. They were in the huddle for a long time. Their plan was to keep our defense on the field, our offense off the field.
Try to shrink the game on you guys.
So they shortened the game, and that's a great plan. And they executed well. Freshman quarterback in there, who I thought played lights out. I thought he was great. But as we talked about, even with our struggles in the red zone, everybody has difficulty in the red zone. It's just not easy as the field gets shorter, and our defense is extremely difficult to score against in the red zone because we're so fast in the back end, even up front. Our D linemen can run. Keegan McCoy can run, and Miles Maupin can run.
Yeah, these guys,
so they can make things difficult in a short field. So there's that component. They kept him out of the end zone. They drilled 3 field goals, but we were feeling pretty good, like we were still in the game. And then the second half became a ball control game. And field position game is what I meant to say. So even though we didn't score every time, we did drive it down, had great field position, were able to kick a field goal, got a touchdown called back, good call, holding on us, and unfortunate, but happened. Would have been good to get a touchdown there, but got a big field goal. We haven't made a lot of field goals this year, so hats off to Cam Simons. It was the snapping, the hold, his kicks were awesome. But every time we got the ball, we made at least a couple of first downs. And so we got the ball out to about the 50-yard line, and then we could punt it down to the 20, and so it kept them out. And then the defense, while Southern played, and maybe it's safe to say, maybe not their best game of the year, but their best half of the year in the first half, outside of not scoring, we were able to get them off the field very, very quickly. So we were able to get the upper hand a little bit in terms of
time of possession,
ball control, time of possession, all
try to
those
wear their
things.
defense down a little bit. So, in dealing with the rain, and it changes everything about the game, it really does. And you knew it was going to be a shrunken second half, and you just got to be opportunistic and really hold on to the ball. But what really changes as far as your offensive plan when the rain comes? Just talk to the fans about how you have to adjust on the fly when that stuff kind of comes.
Well, I think that the biggest thing is, the objective is to win the game. So, and I think people get lost in this sometimes because the week before, we couldn't be stopped by one of the best defenses in the league, against Montana Western. We scored almost 50 points and, a lot of yards. But this is a different day, different game, different team.
New week.
And things can change drastically. So it was, what do we have to do to win the game? And the obvious answer is we just need to score more points than they got. And there wasn't going to be a lot of points scored, so we needed to find a way. And obviously the ball's difficult to handle, so that's the other X factor. We knew we need. The last thing I think I told the team was, we got to get the ball. We got to get the ball, and we got to hold on to the ball. And however your mathematics works, they had 6 turnovers, we had none, basically. Or the one that we did put on the ground, we were the ones to recover it. So sometimes it's those 50-50 balls where you just got to find a way to get it. So literally, handling the ball is the most important thing in those conditions. And then we got just close enough, scored just enough, blocked a punt, which was huge.
Absolutely.
And so that was amazing.
And mention the kid who blocked the punt, because watching it on the film really quick, just a heck of an effort. Comes in there, sells out, jumps over the shield, and just makes a heck of a play on it. So I'll give you a chance to talk about that.
Well, number one, it's illegal to jump over the shield.
Okay.
So we got a break. But Jacob Arms, I recruited him out of high school. He didn't come here right away. He went to Northern Arizona University.
Okay.
But never forgot, and I think I mentioned last week, just the relational recruiting, and from Alamar Alexander coming back to us from Boise State to Jacob Arms from Willits, California. And he's a freakish athlete. So he can run, he plays on our kickoff team, backup running back, probably could do some great things, did some good things in scrimmages earlier in the year. But he ran up to the shield, jumped straight up, then their shield guy kind of lifted him, so it appeared that he was 16 feet off the ground. And the ball actually hit him in the helmet, and so it was. And Coach Choate always talks about the 2 thumps, boom, boom, that you want on a punt. And if you can block a punt, Southern's had that was a 3rd punt blocked in 3 weeks. So
like he had something coming
hats off to Coach Choate that we were able to get something. We went after it, and it really was a huge play.
Absolutely. So, and I was just going to ask, expanding on the operation of that second half, how proud of your team were you just to not have any of the critical errors in that second half, because that's what the game really came down to, was critical errors. And it felt like operationally, even down to the snaps on the punt, like you said, the field goals, holding on to the ball for the most part on offense, just didn't make critical mistakes. So how proud of your team. We're to settle down. You're down 9-0 at halftime, but if we can just play mistake-free football, probably come out with a win.
Yes, and it's incredible. Yes, you hit it on the head. So it's handling the ball in all those situations. But what people forget sometimes, there's so many different guys handling the ball, you know, and it's, but the quarterback, you know, Ryan Hibbs is going to think, probably my worst game of my life, and I'm thinking, that might have been the best second half we've ever played in terms of catching every snap. You know, you'd think, in the old days, you'd think, hey, get under center, at least we don't have the ball floating through the range every single time shotgun snaps. But the punt snaps, Jacob Torres, our great senior snapper from Rocky Mountain High School, was unbelievable. So Jacob Johnson, our punter, did an amazing job.
Got it done.
So again, that flipping the field position, again, that's an interesting thing. Again, there's more ways to win a game sometimes than meets the eye. So I'm very, very proud of the guys. And it was a big emotional win for us because it feels different too, but it feels like we shut them out on defense and we scored 80 on offense. I mean, it's just, it's that good of a feeling to weather that storm, and that's what real competition is. You know, it's, hey, the game's in the balance till the very end, and then you find a way to win. And everything kind of came together for us, which again, I think it speaks to the nature of the program, the building from your days, and we're way better on special teams than we used to be. We've just improved a little bit every year. Defensively, we've gotten to be a real problem in the red zone, and it wasn't always like that. And then the one touchdown we scored was amazing. It was a red zone play. We made a big, great call by Brian Taylor on the bubble and go, and John Krebs, young freshman, made a great catch.
Up and gets one.
And terrible conditions. And then Nick Calzaretta kind of got free, and that's what we want to do. We want to put the game in his hands, and then we were able to move him out and run it right at him, and we've established that too, where we are a physical presence, and we need to make some yards. We need to make 2 yards up the middle. And we had all the confidence in the world that we were going to be able to do it.
Especially in a game like that, where it's like when it is, you have the rain that you have, it's like, obviously everybody knows it's going to be hard to throw it, guys. When it comes down to it, if we're going to win this game, we got to be able to get some tough yards in the running game. Whether it be in a 3rd and short or in the goal line or whatever. It's like kind of throwing a little bit out of this. We got to make it happen in the running game.
Nick came to the sidelines after his fumble, and he said, "Coach, I had that ball secure, and it was just out, you know, like a greased pig." And so said, keep 2 hands on the ball, and so he and Alomar, and then Hibbs, of course, I've said a couple times, Krebs' catch, we made a few key catches, and then at the very end it became a punting game. So we need to take some time off the clock and punt the ball, and it worked.
Absolutely. All right, Coach. Well, congratulations on the SOUW. Keeps you guys alive in the fight, not only in the conference, but obviously in the national playoff picture. You guys move up in the rankings this week, and so, like I said, keeps you continues to give you new life on the season. Moving on to EOU, you know, it's one game at a time, and we got to take care of these last 2, starting with Eastern Oregon. You've gotten a chance to see them on film. We played them earlier in the year, 24-7 win in LeGrand. Anything different that you see on film, or anything else that kind of jumps out at you that maybe they've added since you played, the last time?
Well, they're a problem. I mean, they're a problem on defense, the way they play, and then Kai Quinn is a problem. I mean, he's just very, very difficult to defend. You know, I'm shocked, to be honest with you, that they've lost 5 games, but that's the way the Frontier Conference is. There's a lot of close games, and so it's a shock, because I think Eastern Oregon is a very, very, very good team, and a very, very dangerous team, and as dangerous as anybody in the conference. But not surprised, because we played all those people too, and we've had 3 wins here that have been the last overtime and darn near the last possession every week, the last 3 wins. So there's a fine line between winning and losing. So again, we have the utmost respect for Eastern Oregon and what they do. We love to play them. It's a rivalry game.
Yeah.
But they are very, very good. And hopefully a lot of people from LeGrand will come, and a lot of people from Caldwell and the Boise Valley will come. So I'd love to see a big crowd there. I think the weather's going to be way better than it was in Ashland, Oregon last week. But they'll have their best game plan of the week too. Of the year. Sorry, they just do that again. I think Coach Camp and I have a lot of mutual respect and kind of a good friendly rivalry, and so I know he gets up for us, and but we got everything to play for. We played ourselves into a position. We're ranked in the country now at number 19, and so every game just gets bigger, as we've talked about these last few weeks anyway. And that's exciting. I think the guys are excited, and it'll be a big day against a really, really good team.
Yeah, is it hard to keep your team focused week to week in this situation when, maybe sometimes there's external factors as far as you need this team to do, something around the league to continue to give you a chance. How do you handle that, or is that not an issue that you deal with this team? And obviously Eastern's a rivalry, so it should be a little easier, but I think you understand the gist of what I'm asking.
I think, there was a number of years ago, maybe it was the 18 season, which I always point to as kind of the breakthrough season for us. We were 0-5 and then turned it around and won 6 straight. And at the beginning of that season, we had high hopes. We had a very, very good team. And so we talked about goals and national championships and this and that. And somebody had encouraged me to do that. Yeah, you really got to set goals. Guys are goal-oriented, and that's really good. Goals. And I thought, you know what, after that season, or at the midpoint of the season, I said, darn it, I don't know about goals. I know they're important, I know the principle, but the only goal is to win the next game. So every game is just the next most important one. And the nature of football is it's way different than basketball and the other great games on the face of the earth. There's only 10 games. There's one a week. There's one every Saturday.
Every one so as big as the next.
There's a certain routine and rhythm to the season, and you can really get lost in all that other stuff. I could care less about Rocky. They got their own issues. I know they're gonna have close games, and if they win them all, great. Hats off to them. And similar to us, we got enough of our own issues that we got to concentrate on. But again, I try to appeal to the guys' best logic, and just have fun in the moment. I think in the moment is maybe an overused cliche, but I think there's real power in that, to be honest with you.
No, if you have a team that truly is in the moment, you probably put a pretty good product on the field.
Absolutely, and it's a way to live your life too, and certainly to play football, certainly to prepare for football. We practice at 5:30 a.m. in the morning on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. No one's excited, coaches, trainers, players included, but we get out there and we're able to focus on let's get done what we need to get done in this hour and 45 minutes. And the guys have been fantastic. So again, I like where we are as a team. I think I like where we are as a coaching staff. And so I think we have a chance to be at our best, even though, just like everybody, there's a lot of injuries, there's a lot of bruises, and no one's at full strength, and
but truly every team in the country has one or multiple critical injuries right now to guys that are key cogs.
So it's all understood. So you can worry about that or worry about what you don't have in the moment. Means we got great guys. Let's go put the best plans together. Offense, defense, special teams, and I think that's what I choose to focus on.
Yes, sir.
And find a way to win the game. If it's a hailstorm out there on Saturday, we're going to find a way. If it's a beautiful day, and it's a high-scoring affair, we got to find a way. If it's 0-0 going into the fourth quarter, we got to find a way to win. And then we got to be big enough and mature enough to know that, again, like I told Ryan Hibbs, he's a quarterback. He understands, likes to throw for 300 yards, and 80%.
Yeah.
But doggone it, that was critical for him to just handle the ball in the second half. So
that's playing
anyway,
winning quarterback football in that situation.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's the difference between a quarterback and
A thrower.
a thrower, or a stats guy, you know, and so everybody's smart enough to know. We have smart guys, and I love to coach to their intelligence. I think I mentioned that last week. They understand what's on the line. I don't need to pump them up. But what I do like to do is make sure the coaches are really, really, really on it and teaching. You know, Eastern Oregon, back to them for a second. Kai Quinn presents problems because he's such a good runner and he can throw the ball a mile down the field. And they have some good athletes and very good on the offensive line. And defensively, they got the two best players in the conference. I talk about this all the time. Sage DeLong was the National Defensive Player of the Year, like 6 or 7 sacks in one game. And then Chase Van Wyck, I think is the best player in the conference, and he was Player of the Year in the conference in the spring. So these guys present big time problems for our offense with their defense. So we got our hands full. So it's a lot on the coaches. They're here burning the midnight oil, working out the different situational things, which is the fun of coaching, by the way. So I feel very fortunate to do that and be involved in that. But it's a lot of preparation. Then it's not what the coaches can do. It's what the coaches can teach and get the players to do. I'm a firm believer in that. My job is to empower coaches who empower the players, and then we give it a go. And hopefully have the time of our life on Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Absolutely. Well, you know, speaking of time of our life, you know, it's going to be an amazing atmosphere. Always is against Eastern Oregon. They always bring a huge contingent from LeGrand down here to Caldwell for the game. So going to be really exciting rivalry week. We'll see you guys all out there, and we appreciate you tuning in this week. Thank you.
Thank you.